coolest guy
Damn,
in the world.
fuck, there was such an open turnover for your mom joke there. And he didn't take it. You know who else is cheap? Lone Ranger's mother. That's right, Jay. That's what happens when you're not on our show.
The Nerd or Not podcast is an irregularly aired show about games, movies, TV, comics, theme parks and anything else that floats our fandom. And now, here's your hosts, Jay, Bob, and Corey, the Cretins Guild.
So, it's funny. I was talking to Meredith at lunch today. Because we
Meredith at lunch.
Hey, because we were just talking about like how we had met our friends, and she actually asked me how I met you guys, and it's interesting because I don't fucking remember. I was telling her, I was like, Bob, I'm pretty sure I met you through your sister.
You were a combination of through Corey and through Jenny, yeah.
Yeah, and then Corey, you and I kind of orbited each other for like 3 years in high school.
Because of Chris.
Because of Chris and Miss Hissam.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So my freshman year, I broke my leg, and I couldn't go to school because North was built in the 60s, and it was not safe for a person on crutches.
Plus, it was all portables in your freshman year.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my God. The old asbestos strip mall layout. I remember that
exactly.
That stuff was mint. But nowadays, knowing what we know about architecture, we'd be like, breeze blocks.
Exactly.
Awesome. Breeze blocks and cancer.
So I was getting homeschooled basically my freshman year, and one of the neat things that Lee County did was your teachers would come to you if they had the time. And Miss Hissam was awesome, and I was taking German and American government from her, so she came to my house after school and would teach me.
Yeah.
Which was pretty great because Miss Hissam ruled.
What does she normally teach on a regular?
German and American government. Those were her two things, and I think she did government. I think she did a world history as well. But so we're going through that, and I was talking to Miss Hissam, and I had comics everywhere because I had a broken leg and was stuck on the couch. I couldn't go anywhere. She's like, "Oh, you should really meet one of my students named Corey. You guys would get along so well." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, Miss Hissam," and that was it. Like, yeah, sure, whatever. Lo and behold, like a year and a half, 2 years later, because of Denoto, here we are. So,
well, that was like the first time. At that point, you were like one of Denoto's friends, and I didn't really, because I was like super shy, still kind of am. I didn't really like try to intrude upon like my friends' other out groups.
Sure.
So you were just like that guy that hung out with Keith for a long time. And then I remember you guys shooting the taco video, and then Chris was like wanting help with it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, some weird shit happened, and you were like, ugh, I'm kind of bored. I got nothing to do. And we went over to that comic book store over on Cape Coral Parkway somewhere.
Yep.
And
Comic Cave 2000.
Comic Cave 2000. All right. And then we hung out there for a little bit, and then like one day I'm like, hey, you want to come over? We can read some comics and do N64 or whatever. And you came over, and my dad's like, hey, Corey, is this your drug dealer?
Yep. He asked if I was your coke dealer. I think I remember pretty vividly. Like I remember one of the first times you and I hang out. Do you remember the trip we all took to Busch Gardens? me, you, Keith, and Chris. And you and I just like hit it off. We were thick as thieves that whole trip. It was great because we just pissed Denoto and Keith off.
Yes.
Because we were being idiots the whole time. It was so much fun. It was absolutely wonderful.
He says he wants trim. The Bob one's a little bit more unclear because that was like earlier, and I want to say that was freshman. No, that was
freshman.
It was freshman year. Okay, it was freshman year, and was that through Chris also?
No, you and I rode the same bus after school.
That's fucking right. Yeah, I remember. Okay,
you had like a whole sketchbook out, and you were just like doodling away. And I was trying to enhance my art skills, and I just started asking you questions, and then we did our own rendition of Bud Bowl.
We did Bev Bowl.
Bev Bowl.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh shit.
And it was shit like Mad Dog 2020 and Beefeater and crap.
Yeah.
I remember what comics I was drawing too. I was like on this huge fucking almost live kick at the time, so I was drawing my own Mind Your Manners comics. Based on their.
Oh
Billy
my god, I saw those too.
Yeah, they were god fucking awful. I'm so glad I got past that phase.
They were fun.
But yeah, and they served their purpose. I met one of you assholes. Should never have drawn those goddamn comics.
So that, guys, of course, was the secret history and origin of the Cretins Guild.
Yes.
And welcome to episode, don't know, haven't been on since fucking May, of the Cretins Guild podcast. I am Jay, your sometimes person that is here. With me, as always, is Bob and Corey. Thank you guys for keeping my seat warm while I've been gone.
Toasty.
It was easy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very convenient.
Corey, I'm digging the terracotta walls back there, and I like the trunk piled high. Are those DVDs or games?
DVDs. Your games are over there.
Fair enough.
Yep. The old diamond crate or the milk crate shelf system.
It works. That's all that matters.
I apparently don't even have enough money for cinder blocks and 2x4s at the moment, so that's what we're dealing with.
So, Bob, you've got a bit of a different look going today in the pit. What's going on there?
I had some lighting issues, and I decided to make the best of it and just turn on the tiki lights for the first time ever.
So, I'm going to be completely frank with you guys. I have no idea what our topics are today. I haven't looked to see if we have a rundown or what the rundown is or what we're going to talk about. I know one thing we're going to talk about a bit is the shocking collapse of TellTale Games, and the continued fall of TellTale Games.
Yeah, did something break out earlier today?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
I haven't heard this, so fill me in.
So last week they laid off like 75% of their staff. So I'm bad at math. So if anyone is a mathematician and I'm off, go fuck yourself. I don't care.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks. So they laid off a shit ton of people, which sucks because TellTale Games are great. You can hate the engine as much as you want. I know a lot of people do. The storytelling was superb. They were a lot of fun, and I'm going to miss them. But today, they laid everybody else off. So
all the Netflix people are gone now, huh?
So that skeleton crew that was supposed to be there, they are now in the grave, I guess is the better way to put it, because they are no longer a skeleton crew. They are just skeletons. So yeah, those guys are all gone, and that sucks. Now, there have been talks and rumors and possibilities of other companies picking up the employees to hopefully continue to make those games. Yeah, Ubisoft is a big rumor right now.
Activision was another one because they want to start a line similar to their King's Quest revamp.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question. Where was TellTale based out of? California?
California.
Yeah.
And does
Like
Ubisoft, I know they're French owned, but do they have any American studios?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if they're going to have to relocate overseas or whatever.
See, the reaction that Jay and I both offered you is, oh yeah, except we don't really know for sure where it might be. Just generally.
Fair enough. Just roll with it.
And it's likely that it's in the San Fernando Valley.
Yeah, it's there's a solid chance. If you are a foreign game development, you have an office in the Silicon Valley, in Redwood Shores in San Francisco, in Los Angeles, or Seattle.
Yeah. Sometimes in Sacramento for some weird reason.
Cheaper. It's significantly cheaper.
Right, yes. So you get up in the wine country. And here's the bitch about this. I mean, aside from 100% of the situation.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about the people that were just let go today, because them laying off that remaining skeleton crew means that they can't satisfy 2 third-party contracts, which means they're going to take it like square in the pooper, like when all this is said and done.
Well, they canceled all their other titles that were in development.
Yeah, and you know what one of those titles was? Was a title, and then just speaking so selfishly, one that I was waiting on for like 3 years, Season 2 of The Wolf Among Us.
Yep.
A lot of people were.
Literally just announced that, along with the fucking Evil Dead. And then, clean slate, scorched earth, bombs away.
They salted the earth.
Yeah, and it was in the worst fucking way possible. Those people haven't even gotten fucking severance.
And they're not going to.
Yeah. How do you do that? I thought there were safeguards in place for this.
There are supposed to be, but they had very expensive licenses. They had an engine that they refused to iterate on and improve.
Sadly.
Because, if you played a TellTale game, if you played the first one, you've played them all. It's all the same thing.
To a point. I think there was a bridge between Back to the Future and The Walking Dead.
Yeah, where they added the QTEs and stuff like that, where things got a little bit different, but it was essentially the same thing after Walking Dead.
You're right, yes.
And unfortunately, they fucked up. I mean, they tried to do too much too fast and release too many games, and they cannibalized their own sales, really. I mean, that's what it is.
The real sad thing about this, if you look back at their history, how they started, they were basically the remnants of LucasArts after they closed.
Yeah, they were the fucking life raft for LucasArts, for fuck's sake. Yep.
That's just broken up all over again.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a revived entity, and history didn't really repeat itself. Point and click games people believe that there was a shrinking market for it, and by that point, LucasArts was like, get it out, because they spent a lot of money on Grim Fandango, and that was kind of what their miscalibrated fortune teller ball was saying, that hey, because this didn't sell well, we got to cut and run. And then maybe how many years later was that? It was like 6 years later, TellTale becomes a thing, and their first big hit was Sam and Max. So that invited back a whole lot of old LucasArts faithful into the fold, and they started off pretty well. It wasn't an expensive property. For one thing, I think at that point it was privately owned, and one of the people that worked on it also carried over that style, and he's been let go for a long time since then. But still, things began auspiciously enough. Damn.
If I remember correctly, so not that these games were a big hit, but they were the guys behind Poker Night at the Inventory, right?
Poker Night at the Inventory didn't really sell that well.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It didn't sell well, but it was something they could have done more than just this one particular type of game.
Easily. And honestly, Poker Night at the Inventory, despite the fact that sales were piss poor on it, that's one of my favorite TellTale games.
Yeah, I cannot remember. It's been ages since I've played it, but it was good. It was a lot of fun. And it was cool because you could, if I remember correctly, you could unlock stuff in Team Fortress because of it.
Which was a controversial and kind of a ballsy move at the time, especially for a game that almost nobody was hyped up for.
Yeah.
But
and we're not just talking a hat or something, right?
It was a couple of hats and a couple of whips. One of the hats, weirdly enough, from which the entire scrap metal economy of Team Fortress 2 had sprung from, because some of the denominations scale up from scrap metal to this to this to that, and then Max's head is the top of that candlestick chart. And I got one of those goddamn things, and people get at the beginning, people were offering me just the craziest shit for it, and I'm like, I really like Sam and Max, though, legitimately. I'm not going to get rid of this. And then people were like, no, I will literally pay you $250 for this. Half of it was that I didn't trust these motherfuckers at all. But the other half is, I like Sam and Max. Fandom is tough to buy, It ain't cheap.
So TellTale is pretty much officially dead and gone now. Which is sad. And it sucks. But we talked about LucasArts, and that's going to spin me into my next thing I want to talk about. So today at New York Comic Con, Disney released details on the live-action Star Wars series coming to the Disney streaming service next year. That is showrun by Jon Favreau. The first episode is being directed by Dave Filoni, who was the showrunner of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the animated series.
The good one?
Yes, the spectacular one. And it is also going to have episodes directed by Tamora Morrison and Bryce Dallas Hayward and a few other people. And
did you say Bryce Dallas Howard, right?
Howard, yeah. I said Hayward, I meant Howard.
Oh. I know who you're talking about. I just know I didn't know she could direct.
Yeah, well, apparently she can.
Eventually, yeah. That's the thing that actors like to do.
That series is coming out, and it is called The Mandalorian.
Oh.
And it is taking place between episode 6 and episode 7. And it does not star Boba Fett. It just stars a Mandalorian. That's all we know so far. And they released the first teaser image of it today, and it sure is a dude in Mandalorian armor. So rumors have it that they're going to be using some of the plot elements from the canceled Star Wars 1313 video game in the show, as well as some of the scripts that Lucas helped write for the original Star Wars Underworld television series that was originally pitched a few years ago, are going to be part of this. So we'll see.
I was fucking biting I was really looking forward to seeing that.
Me too.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. A lot of interesting stuff happening at NYCC today. We had some big announcements from DC Universe. Mm-hmm. They showed some stuff about Titans, getting some very divisive opinions on Titans as well.
Yeah.
It is either you love it or it's the worst thing ever. So we're going to see what happens.
It's normal DC fanfare.
Well, Collider wrote one of the worst reviews I've ever seen about the series. Mm-hmm. It might be 100% accurate. Doesn't change the fact that the review is terrible.
Yeah.
Because the writer clearly went into business for himself and was just writing any funny quip that came to mind.
That's a bitch about modern day reviewing, though, especially blog format reviewing, because it's always going to be some asshole trying to get himself over rather than what they're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of people have really liked it. A lot of people have really hated it. I am sure when all is said and done, people are going to fall somewhere in the middle, and it is going to be both good and bad, like everything else under the sun. So we will see what happens. But we also had announcements of the new Harley Quinn animated series.
Yes!
Starring Kaylee Cuoco from The Big Bang Theory as Harley. Mm-hmm. And Diedrich motherfucking Bader as Batman.
And I think maybe Daria as Poison Ivy, because I was the only person I could place that voice onto.
I think it was Raven from the Teen Titans series.
Oh, really?
No, and no.
Oh.
If you have seen Wet Hot American Summer, the second series, not the second series, but not the original movie, but the series that Netflix did.
Yeah.
It was the Jewish girl who ended up married. Oh shit, I can't remember her name. But the girl who plays her is playing Ivy. It is very clearly a Daria inspired delivery.
Yeah,
but it is not Daria. But the cast is pretty great. Alan Tudyk is in it, so great. That's going to be wonderful.
What do we have any idea what role he is?
Haven't announced it yet, so
it doesn't matter. It's going to be awesome. Whatever
exactly.
He plays.
I really want him to be Two-Face. Like, I would love to hear an Alan Tudyk Two-Face. I think that would be marvelous. But we also got, they released a schedule of when things are coming. Young Justice Season 3 debuts in January. They're going to be releasing 3 episodes a week, I think they've said, to kind of keep it going so people just don't binge out and finish it off.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And Warner Brothers is apparently really excited about Young Justice. It has so far been the most watched show on the service by leaps and bounds. Like, not even a little bit. Like, people are just, tap it into your veins. It's great. So they're big believers in the process right now and in the property. So that's a good thing.
Well, that was their tentpole product, more or less, wasn't it?
Yeah. Exactly. Kind of shifting from that. One thing they did you guys hear about the Stars and Stripe series that they announced, the live action one?
No.
So they did. They announced the Stars and Stripe series. And Jeff Johns today announced that they are working on a 15-foot tall practical effects stripe robot for the show.
Okay.
So
I'm kind of excited about that.
Yeah.
That's the gayest I've seen you in ages.
Yeah. And Matt Bomer is going to be the Negative Man, and Brandon Fraser is going to be...
This shit is going to rock the house.
Yeah, Doom Patrol is going to be amazing.
Yeah,
Doom Patrol, yeah.
For the most part, like a lot of the stuff that we'd mentioned or that you'd mentioned so far, I'm like, well, except for Young Justice, I'm kind of like running tepid on. But mild complaint about Poison Ivy. Stick to a personality for her. Because they've got Harley Quinn pretty much down pat. Except for like one minor detail that is kind of parenthetical anyway. But from the original TAS, she was a classic femme fatale. And she kept that up until Batman and Harley Quinn, which she became some sort of like an insecure ingenue that was still lethal, but didn't really know where the fuck she was half the time. And then here she's like we just pointed out, fucking Daria, essentially.
Well, I would assume that is just for this teaser to announce it.
Could be, yeah.
Because it's very clearly it's going to be a comedy show.
I was watching this trailer over and over again. I would just laugh my ass off at mostly of everything Harley was doing. Do we know if it's going to be like a TVMA or like a lower rating or what? Because she cusses during this trailer.
They're writing it for the internet. It's going to be TVMA.
Yeah,
guaranteed. Titans is Titans. I have like zero interest in that whatsoever. But fucking Doom Patrol, shoot that shit into my fucking brain right now.
Doom Patrol's going to be incredible. the cast of Doom Patrol is. Like, it's a cast I would expect in a movie.
They're not even fucking around with it.
No.
That's the thing.
Tim Dalton as the Chief?
Mm-hmm.
Brendan Fraser as Robot Man. Matt Bomer as Negative Man.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Somebody at an executive level has a whole lot of faith in this project. And I'm wondering if... You said it was like a Berlanti thing, being EP'd, right?
Yes.
There's like only one person under the WB banner that has like that much stroke, and I wouldn't be surprised if fucking Joel Silver had his fingers somewhere in this mess.
Probably.
Yeah. Besides, he hasn't done anything in like 15 years.
But yeah, so that's what's going on with DC.
Almost. There's one last thing you forgot to mention. We finally get to see... Yeah. The main man makes main waves on the airwaves.
Yes, Lobo announced as the big bad for season 2 of Krypton.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I'll say the same thing I did to Corey earlier. I think he's the big bad. I just skimmed to find the picture because I've never seen an episode of Krypton.
Yeah. Yes.
I made it halfway through season 1, and I didn't really lose interest. I just forgot to keep watching.
That's somehow worse.
That's kind of like you lost interest, really.
That's grown apathy, and that's not good.
Yeah, like if you jumped off the tail end of one episode, and the next week you're like, "What happened last week?"
Okay.
Fucking whatever.
I was intrigued by the series, and I was watching it. It's just it kind of stretched out. It just slowed down at times, and I was trying to keep up with the story, then something else came along the lines like, oh, I need to get back to Krypton at some point, and it just never happened.
I'm not putting too much faith in Krypton, but then again, I haven't really seen it, and I hope, or rather, one hopes that it's not by the Gotham people. If it ain't, maybe I'll give it a shot.
I have no idea who it's by. It's Krypton, so I don't really care.
It's Superman, yeah. And that's one of those tales that's been told enough times that we know like what the basic codification of it is.
It's Superman without Kal-El. That's the weird thing.
Yeah, it's Superman's dad. Like, I don't want to read a story about Superman's dad. You know, it's like it's astonishing to me how different it is. Like, I get excited for the Supergirl show. I enjoy the Supergirl show. It's good. It's a wholesome fucking show. It's happy. If that was a Superman show, I don't care. Mm-hmm. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's Clark Kent is boring. Get off my screen.
Although the version of Superman they had on the Supergirl show was pretty fun.
He was great.
Yeah,
I liked him.
Yeah,
like, hey, you're not Superman. You're okay.
He was vibrant enough to. Well, he wasn't afraid to like put a little bit of stink on the character because there were like several moments in those 2 episodes from what was it, season 2, I think, where he like came off as a genuine creep. And nobody really like called him out for it, but he's just like, I know, I'm a fucking creep. That's how it is.
So that's going on. But the Lobo. So I looked to see what the picture looked like. It's not bad.
It's not bad. They got the makeup pretty well done. He's tiny, but
he's very small.
Yeah.
What,
he's
like
an
lean,
actor.
small?
Well, no, he's fit. Hollywood dude small. Like it's he's got muscle, he's got a 6-pack, he's built.
Okay, so he's Finn Balor basically.
I think Finn Balor would have
bigger
been
than that.
Finn Balor if you're going like the thing about Lobo is that he looks like trash, but he's like even if he's rendered as like, you know, super fucking cut or whatever, He's always like bulky and looks alien, you know?
Yeah,
so I kind of... Go ahead.
I always describe Lobo as sloppy.
Yes.
Like, he's very fit, but he's a sloppy individual.
He's biker fit.
Yeah. I think that it's somewhere between he's fit and he's biker fit. You know, like he's kind of like that halfway point.
There was the one actor that had been that was attached to the role for a long time because he did that one indie, the short film. Yeah. He looks more like Lobo than this guy does, even if the other guy's not a great actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this guy can act, and he was Jim Corrigan in Constantine, and he was pretty good in that. And I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and I will most likely watch Krypton this year because Lobo's a hell of a lot more interesting than Superman's dad.
Lobo's a draw, yeah. That's
yeah, exactly.
I want to see the bike, and I want to see the bulldog.
I want to see the dolphins.
I want to see the dolphins. Okay, how did 5 really mortal dudes from the Cauldron of Gotham City get Lobo off of their backs?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? I do.
I need to reread it.
Because this is one of the greatest fucking single-issue comic books ever written.
It's the Hitman Lobo.
It's Hitman versus Lobo. They lure Lobo out to a construction site where they incapacitate him by dropping a wrecking ball on him, among other things, and then they take pictures of him getting married to
That's right.
An ethnically
Bueno, right?
To Bueno Excelente, yes, in a wedding dress.
Bueno.
And then threatening to broadcast it all over Gotham City. That got him to leave that beef at the door. That is how you finish a Lobo comic. You make it definitive and you make it repulsive.
You blackmail him out.
Blackmailing's one way. There have been plenty others. Like, I forget how they did it on Superman the Animated Series. They had a pretty good denouement on his two-parter as well. Oh, he was part of like an intergalactic zoo, which put him on the same page as Superman, taking down a common foe. That's another way to do it. I don't know. But those are the best Lobo stories. The worst ones are where, you know, somebody like dukes it out and somehow overpowers him and Lobo's like, I'm bored with you, and then goes away.
Yeah.
Get him to lose interest.
You have a fun character there, you know? He's like, and that's, not to harp on, like, new Lobo, he's taken enough shit. And the book wasn't half bad. The character is lame as fuck, though. The reason you couldn't sell the new one versus the old one is because the old one can go anywhere. He's cheese incarnate. And that's way more flexible than the flavor of the month.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's a rare thing with that guy. That's why Deadpool's so popular now. We're talking about comics like old people.
I think that's about all I had to talk about, though, for this. And Bob, I know you had some stuff you wanted to bring up.
All right, what was everybody's opinion of the new BumbleBee trailer?
Loved it.
Yes.
Loved it.
Loved it to the point where I hope this is a reboot of the series in the right direction.
Yes.
It would be nice.
Seeing the Gen 1 vehicles on screen,
oh my God,
made me ecstatic.
Not just the Gen 1 vehicles, but there was a part of the trailer where they were showing Cybertron and you could see the jets flying around in their original Cybertronian form. Where they're like the triangle jets, and it was the weirdest thing. And then you see Soundwave, like, oh my God. Then there's Shockwave. Holy shit. Ravage. Oh God, where are you going with this? Don't tease me.
And the character designs are decisive. It's not this weird, like, gribbling fucking metal orgy gobbledygook that, you know, personified
a pile of jagged metal.
No, they're there, man. You went back to the drawing board and realized that you weren't going to be able to do any better than what the drawing board was showing you to fucking begin with. Okay. See, here's the thing. When I saw that trailer... Sorry, go ahead.
No. You go.
I wanted to condense the entire thing into like a liquid-soluble form and then dump it into a kiddie pool and then wallow in it for the rest of my fucking mortal days.
And then freeze it in the winter and skate on it.
Exactly. Or, I don't know, put it in a syringe.
Let's not go nuts here.
Yeah. I really liked the trailer. I thought it was fun.
It was a movie about children's toys, Corey. Where did you go? It was such an... I don't know. It's kind of a revelation to me, honestly. Because we've been dealing with the Transformers series for literally over a decade.
And every movie... from the very first one all the way to 5 have been getting worse and worse and worse. They didn't even show transformations in the 5th movie. They would just do like some kind of cut, and then you see this car, they'd cut away. It's like, oh, it's a robot now. They don't even have the money to show the transforming.
It was all diminishing returns, and I'm honestly, like, more power to Bay. He obviously enjoyed making those movies, because otherwise he would have pawned it off like two installments in to somebody else, you know? But it's just... See, I'm on the verge of, like, traditional fucking nerd raging here, and I've been, like, doing really well about getting that muted for a good long time. But this is just such a Keystone Cop move on the part of Hollywood for a while. Who liked those movies other than the guy that kept making them? How did he keep getting money for them?
The only thing I can think of is people kept going to see these movies hoping they'd be better, and they just got progressively worse.
I'm a pretty big damn Transformers fan. After Mediocre, I couldn't really do it.
I have still only seen the first one.
Yeah.
And about 10 minutes of the second one, and I just went, no. And I'm the guy that really enjoyed the new Ninja Turtles movies, which are stupid and fun.
Yeah.
I'll agree to that.
But
they're fun.
The Transformers ones just... Nope. Hard pass. Sorry.
So we're on the new one, and they've not only brought us like the classic designs and such, the classically contextual designs. As far as we do know, Soundwave does turn into at least some sort of an audio emitting device.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a satellite.
Not a satellite. I got grievances about that shit.
Yeah, we all do.
Satellite at least keeps it in the same, I don't know, Venn diagram of transmission equipment. You know, he's basically the Decepticon spy and communications officer, but turning him into a fucking van that one time, no. Turning him into what was like the fucking last insult, like some sort of like a generic alien looking tank. It's hard to take that. It's hard to not take that personally.
I still don't know what Shockwave was the first time they showed him riding like these gigantic mechanical snake things. It was like, no, this is not Shockwave.
Huh?
This is not the guy that Megatron left in control of Cybertron when he left.
Oh, the guy with one eye that was from the name escapes me right now. Basically, he was the other guy that turned into a gun. See, I don't remember Shockwave at all because he was kind of like after the initial wave from back in the day. But yeah, he had one eye. I recognize that shit. So they had
I don't remember Shockwave.
All right.
If you didn't watch anything past the second movie, you didn't see him. He transformed in like a giant laser cannon in the cartoon show, and what a lot of the characters they had in the movies were just so wrong and so off. I mean, even Optimus wasn't exactly as everybody remembers, aside from his voice. That's basically it.
I mean, most of the Decepticons look like tribal tattoos.
That's true. That's a really good description.
They look like they all belonged on the back of Dave Bautista. And I can't get behind...
Or around his belly button.
Around his belly button.
Dr. Dave does not agree with this sentiment.
Oh, wow, you brought back Dr. Dave.
Yeah, I brought back Dr. Dave.
Dr. Dave has no patience for your denigrating shenanigans. Dr. Dave is famous now. He was pretty good in Blade Runner. I don't know if you've seen that yet, but yeah, solid.
He's been pretty good in everything I've seen him in. The man found the right career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a fun actor.
Yeah. So fucking...
He's coming back.
What's that?
He's coming back for SmackDown 1000, the rumor is.
Oh, that's cool.
Probably.
I think
that's cool.
I'm not sure if it's just a cameo, if he's coming back for like a short part-time contract. Because I don't think he works for Disney anymore.
I know he wants to. Well, he's got to finish out Guardians 3.
Yeah.
He has to finish.
And then,
what are they doing with that even right now?
Nothing now.
He made the threat that if they don't use the script that James Gunn wrote, that he's going to quit or they need to write him out or something. He doesn't want to do it if they don't use his script.
Man, Disney fucked themselves hard with this whole situation today.
Oh my God.
There's no way they can actually get out of this corner without like a noticeable scar, no matter how you cut it.
See what I'm hoping for, because I mean, you guys are bigger Transformers guys than me. Mm-hmm. I think it's cool. Like I said, it looks like fun. I'm excited.
Yes,
that's about as invested as I'm getting with it.
Yeah.
But what I'm hoping is that someone at Paramount and Hasbro realizes, hey, you know what? Maybe if we stick with these original designs, we'll make some fucking money. Hey, we've got this G.I. Joe property no one's doing anything with now.
I do want the Deadpool guys back on that. That second movie was not awful at all.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
There were some parts where it was like, okay, that dragged a little bit too long. And they had to clean up the mess from the first film.
Yes.
Yeah, because the first film was a fucking mess.
Yeah. Stephen Summers, how could you let us down like that? I mean...
What was that? I'm sorry, let me count my $15 million I got to direct this motherfucker.
Well, he wrote it too. That was kind of a weird position to put himself in, because you're investing a lot of manpower and your own hours into it, and then you really just like, I don't know, was he constipated and just needed to squeeze that one out? Was he just sitting on this old G.I. Joe script and he's like, God, I'm not doing anything right now, and nobody's watching The Mummy anymore. I guess, fuck it.
Get me Brendan Fraser on the phone.
And Brendan Fraser's like,
You're Lieutenant Falcon now.
I'm kind of busy with Looney.
Okay.
I'm busy with Looney Tunes back in action. Which.
Oh, poor Brendan Fraser.
That was a pretty fun movie too.
Oh, was it really? I've never seen it.
It's camp as fuck. Don't get me wrong, but if you like Space Jam, there's no reason for you to. Joe Dante fucking directed it. For one thing.
I love Space Jam.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yes.
Space Jam is solid shit. Honestly, I think this one was better than that. I don't know, but honestly, just go ahead and see it. Go ahead and see it. If you hate it, blame it on me. I'll shoulder that. I'll shoulder that responsibility. So right, G.I. Joe, and then G.I. Joe: The Return happened, and it was like written by the Deadpool people. Venom.
Oh God.
Because
not hearing anything good about it.
No, I haven't heard like a single. I haven't even like nothing generous at least.
Did you hear what Hardy said in the last series of press junkets for it?
Well, Tom Hardy.
When he
did?
finally, what he said, because he finally got to see the final press of the film.
Yeah.
Oh, they cut my favorite 40 minutes out of the movie.
All right. Well, the reason I mentioned the Deadpool people is because you remember, like, one of the reasons I'm a huge ass fan of Zombieland is because they were the ones that handled the script and stuff.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought, like, all right, well, this must have been one of those like examples of like the screenwriter working really well with the directors and such. And I'm like, no. This happened because of these two writers. The guy that directed Zombieland also directed Venom, and also directed a whole shitload of other bad movies in between then and here. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, this guy might have to take a step back and consider why he got into this business to begin with.
Sure.
Because Venom it looked like a cynical cash grab move. You know, it was Sony's bid to capitalize off of the Marvel brand, but without actually trying to, I don't know, encroach onto their territory, so to speak. You know, get too much muck in their sandbox. And it could have been really fun. Tom Hardy's not a slouch as an actor at all.
No, he's quite good.
And he lent a whole lot of heft to that project, too. And to see it come out like this, with not even an average rating, that fucking sucks. Because that puts him in a bad movie now.
So speaking of Venom, let's hop over. Corey, you're playing Spider-Man.
Yes, I am. Playing the shit out of it.
I am playing Spider-Man. Bob, have you played it yet?
I'm one of 5 people in America not playing it at the moment.
Hey, I was one of 6 people about 3 weeks ago. So,
so hope for me, yes.
I've actually beaten it.
That's why
That's
why you're playing Assassin's Creed now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I put a lot of time into that fucking game. And I still go back to it, which is great. Because I've had it beat for like a week now. And I still go back to it. It's like, I just want to swing around New York for like an hour. I'm good. Like,
yeah.
It's a really goddamn relaxing game. Like, especially after all the... like, once you get the Platinum Trophy and you're done, where it's like, no, I don't want to stop any of those crimes. Fuck you. I'm just going to swing. I'm climbing up the Empire State Building. I'm going to dive off.
So do the crimes still randomly pop up even after you clean out the zone queue?
Yes.
Nice.
So one of the really cool things about it is, you've played it. You know, a lot of the unlockables are tied to crime tokens, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So the collectible stuff is static. You've got 50 backpacks or whatever, however many backpacks there are. There's 50 landmarks. There's 50 of this, 50 of that.
5 crimes happening per area.
Exactly. Yeah. That stuff is static. But you can earn more trophies or earn more tokens if you do better in a particular thing, things like that as you go.
Yeah.
And it's really neat the way they designed it because they offer you opportunities to earn more of them after the game is done if you weren't able to get them through normal gameplay.
Nice.
So, and one of my favorite things about it was, so when I got through it, there are certain challenges you unlock at one point that are tough. They are like legitimately challenging.
What difficulty did you play it on, by the way?
I am on whatever. I'm not on superhero. I'm on the one underneath it.
Okay. There's there's Neighborhood, Amazing.
Is superhero the hardest?
Spectacular is the hard one. That's what I'm playing it on right now.
I'm on Amazing.
You're on Amazing?
So,
okay.
I'm not on friendly Neighborhood. I'm on whatever normal is.
Yeah, I can tell you on Spectacular, those base challenges are a bitch.
Oh, that game's proper hard on normal. Those are tough.
Yeah.
But so you get to a point where you start unlocking challenges, and there's combat challenges, stealth challenges, and a couple other challenges like web swinging and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it's like the best of 2000s video games where it's like, hey, time trials, you got to do this in a certain amount of time. Mm-hmm. So it's like, all right, let's fucking go. But as I kept playing, I was kind of capped out. I couldn't advance to get all of the tokens in it, and I was like, well, I'm just never going to unlock all the suits then. Mm-hmm. I've got to accept that. I'm never going to get the platinum trophy for this. Mm-hmm. They designed it intelligently, knowing that this is something that kids are going to play.
Yeah.
You do not need to ace every challenge to unlock everything.
That's nice.
You need to be just good enough to get enough tokens for it. Uh-huh. So it was like, that is so rewarding. Mm-hmm. Like that is
so
such a
C
nice
grade
feeling.
will get you the accomplishment.
A B. You need to get a B. Okay. To get everything you need a B average. Yeah. It was just a really nice feeling to be like, hey, you did well. Good job, sport. Pat on the back. Here's your final trophy. But it's a great game, Bob. I can't suggest it enough. It's definitely worth picking up.
I did have a question. Corey had only put in so many hours, so he couldn't really answer this. How authentic to New York City is it? Is it just Manhattan, or is it all 5 boroughs?
It's Manhattan Island, but it's 3 of the 5 because 2 of the boroughs are off the island. But you've got Brooklyn, like everything that's on Manhattan Island, you've got all the way from Battery Park up north to Harlem.
I mean, so, I would imagine there's Queens at least.
Very much so, because you have to have a place for Peter to live. Yeah.
Well, Peter lives in Chinatown.
He lives in I thought, that's right. His apartment's over there. He's from
Queens.
Too familiar with
Queens
New
is
York
over
City.
the river.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't think Queens is in it. But you've got Manhattan, and it's huge.
Oh, he grew up in Queens. He lives
on the island.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you've got everything. Like it takes 15 minutes to web swing from the top to the bottom. Mm-hmm. It's a good long trip. Now it takes 2 minutes to swing east to west because Manhattan's skinny, but
it's 3 blocks long.
Yeah, exactly. But there's so much shit to see and get distracted by, and like the photo mode is just amazing.
Get me fucking started on that, man. I'm kind of bitter right now that I'm like too early in the game to have access to most of the advanced features in photo mode.
Well, you're not gonna get most of those until you beat the game.
Oh, motherfucker! Really?
so I beat the game because I had the base stuff.
Yes.
All the way through fighting. Like I took selfies with the final boss as I was punching him in the face. So like he's in the background going like this, and I'm going. So it's wonderful. But once you beat the game, like, and they don't mention this at all. Like it's not like, hey, you got more photo options. I'm going through, and I was like, Jesus Christ, there's a lot of fucking filters in here now. Like,
so
you get like 15, 20 more filters. So it's pretty nice.
So kind of what you're telling me is that I should keep my architecture tour junket on the back burner until I get through the main story, because I'm gonna have some stuff to do afterwards.
I mean, you can if you want to, but I mean, it's I had a ton of fun doing pictures before I had all the stuff unlocked. It's the trickiest thing about it, and this is something I learned after about a week of playing with photo mode, is adjusting the free cam, because the free cam and the orbit work together.
Yes. Okay.
So you place the free cam where you want the orbit to be. It's like by default, it's locked on Peter's head, so it's going to orbit around Peter's body.
Okay.
But you can move that forward and orbit, and now you've got, so let's say if you've got Peter here, you're going to orbit like this.
Oh, it's an axis, is what you're saying.
But if I move the camera up here, Peter stays static, and I can orbit like this in front of him.
So orbit's just...
and figure out where I want to be. And yeah.
Orbit's moving the axis, and the free cam is moving around the axis.
Exactly.
Fucking A. That's a huge help, actually. Thank you very much for that. Because I was trying to get the perfect lock job picture the other day, and I was like, fuck this. I'm just going to take this off frame.
And then another thing that you can unlock, and it's really nice, because I didn't know this was here until about 3 days before I beat the game. On whatever one you can adjust the vignette and stuff like that. I think it's either that one or the one before it. You can keep scrolling down. There are more options there. And primarily sharpness. And sharpness is great for the costumes because it defaults to a middle of the road sharpness because it's it's rendering stuff in real time. It wants you to be able to play the game and not have it grind to a halt.
Right.
But when you're in photo mode, like that noir costume, because I'm pretty sure that's the one you're using.
Yep. Maybe.
Yeah.
I could be. You don't know.
Bump that sharpness up to 100 and you can see stitching and imperfections in the leather and all kinds of stuff.
This game is a beast for details. I don't know. You probably noticed it already, but when you fire off the noir power, no matter what suit you're wearing, I fucking just about died when I saw that. Okay, Bob, I don't know. Should I just leave this for him to discover on his own lonesome, or is it spoilery?
I do plan on playing it at some point. It's not going to be anytime recent.
I don't think it's hugely spoilery. So, what happens when you fire off the noir power, which basically amplifies your stealth abilities? What is it? People don't alert other baddies when you attack them in stealth mode.
Yeah.
What happens is that you hear a film projector kick in, and then the entire screen goes black and white with a film grain. And it stays like that while your power is active, and then when it ends, you hear the film reel. You hear the film projector reel out and go. Yeah, I was like, "Fucking kill me right now." You guys, oh man, I do have.
Which kids growing up today would hear that sound and be like, "What the hell is that? What?
What is this?"
They didn't grow up in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah,
that game is loaded with detail.
Yeah.
Like there is. There's a certain suit you unlock later in the game that references a throwaway audio line that Peter makes right before he gets his new suit. And it's incredible.
The
it's
white spider suit?
Yeah, so you know how he had the battle damage suit?
Yes.
His classic costume was all ripped up? He says a line right before he goes into the lab to get the new suit, where he gets the new suit. And later on in the game, you get something that references back to that.
God, now I'm trying to remember this.
And it's... I'm trying not to say it because I don't want to spoil it for...
Thank you. Do it. That's...
is this something we want to spoil for anybody who might be listening? Because I'll just take off my headphones.
No, I don't want to know either. Because I don't be surprised.
I want...
Yeah.
So
You're walking the path of the righteous. You're good.
Okay, yeah. Once you get most of the suits unlocked, Corey and I will talk, and I'll let you know. Yeah. But yeah, it is a ridiculous detail level. Like it's just like that was a probably something that got ad-libbed by what's his name,
the voice actor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the whoever the artist was on this particular suit went, "That's good. I need to put that in there." And it's so good.
It was a weekend project for one of the modelers, and they probably pitched it to the project manager on Monday morning.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, so what if we do this? That's great. How long will it take you? Finished it over the weekend.
All right, promoted.
Now, since I haven't played it, this would come off as kind of like a foreign subject to me, but the one thing I'm constantly hearing over and over again is people are just raving about the swing mechanic.
Fuck yeah.
It's great. Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah. It's fluid as hell. There was I had a criticism about it in that if you fuck up badly, nothing really happens to you, because there are some moments where you'll be like, oh, you catch the corner of a building, but all of a sudden Peter's careening across the financial district like a pinball. And he doesn't even land on his back or anything. He's like, I meant to do all of that. You don't even see a Daily Bugle that says Spider-Man probably drunk that one night. We didn't know superheroes could be affected by alcohol poisoning. But it's not really a bitch. It's seamless, and when you get a good swing on, you actually this is one of the coolest things about the game that they were able to translate from Arkham Asylum. The big most of the praise about Arkham Asylum was that game made you feel like you were as skilled as Batman looks on screen. I don't know. It's tough to transliterate the what they were describing that vibe as. Spider-Man's the same way, especially in traversal.
Yeah, very much so.
Except
and I'll say in combat too, because in combat it's how do I want to use these spider powers to my advantage? Like,
yes,
I just want to kick a dude off the building. You know, like so I'm going to jump and web swing.
That was a highlight.
Bob, we've kind of monopolized now. Do you have any other topics here?
Shit, yeah. And there's a bunch of shit happening.
I think we're pretty good. I think we're ready to display a brand new announcement regarding our group that I'm pretty sure you're going to like this, Jay. So next month, November 15th, will mark our 3rd year of doing Nerd or Not.
Okay.
We started
We've
off
been doing this for
real
a year?
basic. 3 years.
I know. I missed the first 2.
So did I at some point. It took us 2.5 years to finally get any good at it, and we're still working on that.
At some point we were like, hey, maybe we should start counting these. I don't know.
Should we put some work into this? I don't know.
You remember when we were a game show?
Remember the 6 months we were a WWE podcast?
I do remember that. It's the WrestleMania road that never ended.
Remember the 2 years and 280 days we were a Peter Capaldi fan?
Shout out to Peter Capaldi. Thank you.
I got you, Pete. Got you back.
Fuckity bye.
But yeah, this is our 3rd year.
This is, we're coming up on our 3rd year. And in celebration, I thought we needed to put something special out there.
I am not sending you a picture of my dick again, Bob.
Thank God, because the thing is hideous. It's all black and white, has ears and teeth and a snarl. Oh wait, that's Tessie. See, I can do it too.
Both are correct, though. Accurate for both. So
I already put out my rash, so I've got nothing to add to it.
It is right.
Okay. Oh, I know what this is. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we started off with a very basic. Our logo for the show, the Nerd or Not podcast, was just black and red. Nerd
Which
Not.
I kind of ripped off of the Talking Heads. That's me admitting that. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Look it up. Talking Heads.
I still loved it.
Talking Heads. What album was that? It was their most popular one. Fuck. Can't remember. But yeah, that's where Nerd or Not came from.
Okay. No, I love that. That's awesome. And then about a year ago, after we joined the Somebodies Network, one of the Somebodies, Toby from the Secret Transmission podcast, made us the Nerd Shield logo. So I reached out to a artist who is a fan of ours, and he has designed us, not Nerd or Not, but this is going to be a new logo for the Cretins Guild.
Okay.
There it is.
Oh, wow. Holy shit, that's great.
We're calling it Barrel Girl.
I didn't know she had
reasons.
a name. That's awesome.
what do you want to call her, Brenda?
I don't know. I mean...
Maybe we should hold a contest. Name the Barrel Girl.
That could be your...
Tom Solo.
That could be your secret identity.
Yeah, Tom
That's
Solo.
great.
He drew this and did just a fantastic job. He kept coming back. All right, what do you want me to put in this now? What do you want me to put in now? And he was getting more excited than I was.
Yeah, that's.
I like that she's wearing Chuckle's shirt.
Yeah,
fucking.
That's
amazing. That's awesome.
Nice.
I'm so happy you noticed that. That's awesome. Chuckle's G.I. Joe character. Does she have
the Marty
McFly
random. Nikes on?
She's got the Marty McFly Nikes on. I think what was the shout out to Overwatch? She's wearing Diva's 50s.
She's got the updo for Diva.
Greaser Girl do-rag.
Yeah, the updo, the hair, the bandana in the hair type deal. Yeah.
Is that the One Ring?
It is around her neck.
Okay, so we got the Sonic Screwdriver, got a tiki mug. Is that one of your designs, Bob?
No, it's not. He drew that all on his own.
That's really cool.
I had no idea. I'm going to have to commission him to do some tiki art because that's really freaking good if he did that on his own.
All right, we've got a magic band. We got a Pokeball, the Infinity Gauntlet, the Marty McFlys. We got the belt logo. And then is the bowling pins a reference to the Big Lebowski, or?
It's kind of a combination of our love for that movie and for the sport in general.
Just a signifier for the purity and wholesomeness that is bowling, the sport of kings.
Well, Brenda looks awesome.
I guess she's Brenda now, Bob. That's
amazing.
She has been christened. So yeah.
That's so cool.
This episode is going to drop on a Monday.
Okay.
And what you can do, if you want, go to tpublic.com, do a search for Cretins Guild, and you can have a t-shirt or a phone case or a pillow or they have 1,000 different things.
Shill that shit right now.
Yep.
Just do it.
And you can get Brenda on your goddamn chest.
Well, the shirt with her on it, not like the actual.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
This isn't like a. It's not a Ralph Bakshi kind of a deal here. For one thing, that would be literally impossible.
And here's the special thing: on the 8th to the 10th, that design alone is going to be on sale, and then from the 10th to the 14th, everything on our side of the shop on tpublic.com is going to be on sale. So we got some other designs on there, including this guy, the shield. We have a couple more that just got drawn up. I mean, you get the shield itself. Yep. The belt. That's what I meant. Sorry.
Do we get you? We get you cosplaying as Gritty like you are right now?
Oh, Gritty!
I don't have Google eyes.
Gritty is the official demon spawn of the Cretins Guild podcast. He's I was terrified of Gritty, and then I kind of came around on Gritty, and I'm back to scared of Gritty again.
Yeah.
There's you can't sleep when Gritty lives.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that we were able to contextualize him as that guy that's knocking around the Pittsburgh Penguin mascot. But then one of us pointed out before the podcast that even if we were to okay, let's flex our imaginations a little bit. What sort of crossbreeding would have produced such a creature as this Gritty? And it was that when we were like, oh, this guy's taken on an all new eldritch presence for us again. Because it was like, when you look at him, and he looks like fucking, what was it? It was, it was like a Gorg from Fraggle Rock with the old honeycomb mascot. Yeah. And then there's like a little part of me that was like, wait a minute. I could have sworn that this motherfucker was touring with ZZ Top between the years of 1989 and 1993 also. How do we know that this isn't him just like years later? This is his retirement job now.
It could be.
Because he can't play the organ. He only knows bass.
Motherfucker can't skate either, which is my favorite part about this guy, is he forgets that ice is slippery.
Yeah.
His first night on the ice, he couldn't stay up if his life depended on it.
Did you see when he shot the guy in the back with a t-shirt cannon?
No. Oh my god.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah. Yeah, guy was one of the promotions people is down on the ice with him and says something and starts walking away from him. Gritty turns around and shoots him in the back.
Jesus, he's the Andy Kaufman of fucking sports mascots, isn't he?
Yep.
Oh, he's not going to stop until he gets punched in the face. And woe betide whoever even attempts to do that.
Yeah. Can Charles Barkley skate?
Probably better than he plays golf.
There was a murder here. Somebody, please call the police.
That's terrible. So I got to Corey, you know this. I think Bob, you know it too, but I want to talk about it real quick. I got to go to Chicago a couple weekends ago.
Yep.
Went to Three Dots for the BG Reynolds Kickstarter party, launch party.
Yep.
And it was awesome. Got to hang out with Blair from BG Reynolds, which was really cool. We talked video games and QA and TV shows and Star Wars, and it's a lot like talking to you guys, to be honest with you.
Dude, main's heavy. I didn't even know people still played TF2 earnestly. I mean, except for me. But
and he mains Aricia in Overwatch.
That stands to reason. Yeah.
So we talked that and got to hang out with him. Got a free bottle of syrup for him for the bar, which is pretty cool. And you guys know I'm writing for Exotica Modern.
There's your plug.
And that actually has bumped up for the second issue. I am now the copy editor for the magazine.
Fucking A.
Nice.
Which is pretty awesome. And as payment for said work, Ken from House of Taboo gave me a new mug.
No shit.
So making its debut is the
Nefertiti
Nefertiti mug.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So she is awesome.
Yeah. Wow. They
Wow.
fucking sculpted in the dehydration and everything.
And hopefully anyone who's listening on Podbean just goes over to our YouTube channel and checks out this mug and the images we had earlier.
We can basically just say Google image search Kate Moss. That's pretty much the same effect. Put a blue filter on her, and there you go.
So one of the cool things, this I want to give a shout out to a company in Florida, actually. A company out of St. Pete called Ekambukum.
Oh, yeah.
Did the casting and sculpting on this. So this was based on a picture that Ken sketched out one day and sent it to the guys over at Ekambukum, and they sculpted it. They're actually the guys that do all the stuff for Tiki Tony as well.
Oh.
So if you've got a Tiki Tony mug or his pumpkin boy from a couple years ago or last year.
That was last year.
I don't remember when that was.
That guy's at work right now.
That's from them. So
nifty.
It's good stuff.
That's fucking great. Yeah. So you're talking about drinks and shit. It's Pixel Mixer time. All right.
That's right. It's Pixel Mixer time.
And unfortunately, I've been dodging Pixel Mixer over the last couple of weeks because I can't fucking drink anymore.
Doctor's orders.
Doctor's orders. High blood pressure isn't a problem with me. Mine's too fucking low somehow. So, if I have any alcohol, basically the deal is, if I have too much alcohol, rather, I had to get a correction on that. If I have too much alcohol, then it thins out my blood pressure drops, and then I fucking pass out, like, not even halfway into a glass. Which is pathetic. So, I thought for this Pixel Mixer, because it is that most hallowed of months, that is Halloween, yeah.
Yay!
I thought I would try to do something maybe a little bit different, sticking to horror games, because that is how you do the Halloween. And for this week's Pixel Mixer, we are doing Shadows of the Damned. Now,
cool.
I'd already played this like a long time ago, trying to scoop up some achievements in the latter hours of the game. It is by Suda51, Grasshopper Manufacture. So there's going to be all sorts of weird shit in it. For instance, yes, Johnson is the name of your gun. See here? This guy right here? That's your gun, and his name is Johnson. Because why?
Hi, Johnson.
Because phallic symbology. Because phallic symbolism. I think the story of it, or at least, I think on paper, what it was supposed to be was just like the world's first interactive dick joke. And then eventually they reached kind of like a breaking point with it where they were like, we got to have some actual gameplay in here. So they're like, all right, well, we can put like Resident Evil 4 over the most of this and nobody will really notice. So there is a stage where literally Johnson becomes possessed by the souls of the damned that you're killing or something like that. And you have to take down these giant monstery things. So he internalizes, anime style, all these souls that he's absorbed. Well, in the game, he's called Big Boner, so I guess he becomes the Big Boner. And every time you shoot him, you, that is a protagonist, has to scream out, "Taste my Big Boner," and that goes on for like 20 minutes. Sure. So the drink the drink that I'm making is actually not.
I want to see the segue here.
There is no segue. Like it's a dick joke, and it's like spooky themed. So I'm gonna do a coffee drink for Shadows of the Damned, which is called, and I gotta go over to my other window here, the Coffee of the Damned. What's supposed to be in here, and I might have done it back there, so as to kind of skirt around technicalities, we have 1 ounce each of tequila, brandy, scotch, right in there, 1/2 ounce simple syrup, 3 ounces espresso, dunking it right in. Now, if I was more skilled at this, which I am not, there you go, because espresso is expensive. It's expenso. There would also be a brown sugar cinnamon rim around the top of the mug, and then you can drink it like this. I haven't had a drink in over 2 months. As a spicy fucking meatball. And that's also Coffee of the Damned. Oh, man. Okay. I tried to cut my portions in half because I wanted to still have a little bit of a taste of it, and it's still burning. It's not that much. It's about 1.5 ounces of actual alcohol in there.
Good burn.
it's the best burn. but it is also a discipline burn, so I can't really have any more for the rest of the night. Does anybody understand what the hell is happening with Mothman? Except it's not Mothman, it's a moth that speaks as if it were a man.
Haven't got a clue.
No.
That is. I'm usually pretty good on memes because I like Reddit. That one I didn't go on Reddit for like 3 days, and I came back, and that's all it was. And I was like, the Andy meme from Parks and Rec, where it's like, I don't know who Al Gore is, and at this point I'm too afraid to ask.
Yes.
Yeah, that's basically where I'm at right now. It's like I have no idea what's going on to this moth thing, and I'm too afraid to ask at this point. I'm just gonna go, yeah, the moth,
and then
and keep my head down.
Yeah, and then try to understand it, organically.
That sounds like the safest way to deal with most memes.
Most of Reddit too, to be honest with you. It's
I don't know if this is. I don't know if this is like the progenitor of the entire thing, but I'm gonna drop it in Slack here really quick. It's stupid. The whole thing is stupid, and that's because memes are fucking stupid. But here, enjoy. The first one that I saw was not this one. The first one I saw was kind of like a riff on another meme, and it's always a horrible thing when memes are stacked. But this one was funny. The one that I saw,
I like that one.
It's incorruptible, isn't it?
It's wonderful.
All right. So, do you remember the? I know I posted like 2 like this to Slack once upon a time. I think I posted one to Instagram even. But there's like a topless cosplayer or somebody in the background, and then in the foreground, tastefully positioned is like the foreground subject. The last one I did was Spider-Man. Pizza parties are forever or something like that. The one that I saw was basically Mothman in the background. And nothing was photoshopped to it. It was just that statue of Mothman that they have in Point Pleasant. And in the foreground was that moth right there. And it was doing the same thing. It's like night lights are forever or something like that. Street lamps are forever. And I was like, huh? Because that's how you are introduced to a meme. Abject confusion. Sure. Yeah.
Yep.
So, today I'm just sending friends this bullshit. Deal with it.
Oh, God. Oh, Jesus.
And Bob, you're going to, at about this point, this is when the image gets cut into the video. I don't really know how you do those things.
It's already up.
It's up there?
It's
all right.
It's up.
Am I pointing at it anywhere, or is... No. Oh, okay.
No, it's covering our faces.
Oh, you're going to put it...
Well, how could it
You're
not?
going to make it full frame.
Oh, this doesn't deserve to just pop up a little bit off in the corner. This needs to be
you want our audience to be as repulsed as they normally are. But yeah, drinks, Spider-Man, moths with human breasts. Welcome to the guild.
Yep.
That's how things happen.
That is a perfect ending. Well, good show tonight, guys. Thank you all for having me back. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming back.
Sorry for doing
Good to be here. No, hey, this is fun. Yeah. Well, welcome to the guild and our big titty moth.
This podcast is part of the Some Buddies Network. You're never alone when you've got some buddies.